Hello everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today we are going to do a tutorial for the Cubasis 3 mini sampler. Now the mini sampler is a dead basic sampler, but that doesn't mean you can't create brilliant sounding patches. Okay, so here's one I'd made earlier. That's called Ambient Guitar 1. So I'm going to start off by making a patch sampled from an external synth. Now I have on my audio interface my little Roland S1 plugged into channels 3 and 4. Let's make a new instrument, right? So this is the mini sampler, right? All we need to do is go to where it says this here, go back to the mini sampler and create. Now you'll find mini sampler at the bottom of the list there, mini sampler. There's the factory presets. You get a few drum kits and stuff like that. And these are my presets that I have in the mini sampler. Now, if you're a Patreon, you will already have all of these samples, all of these instruments for you to load into Cubasis. They're in the Patreon rewards folder. In fact, if we just have a quick look at that, this is the Patreon rewards folder. It's called Patreon free stuff. And you will find it here in mini sampler. And if we click on this, click on it again, there's 36 presets, and any presets I make now today in this video will also be in this folder by the time you watch this video. So okie dokie, that being said, let's go back to Cubasis, and when we get here all we need to do is hit new instrument, and I'll give it a name, and I'm going to call this S1 bass, because that's the sound I've got on my little synth. Click OK. Do this, and now we go to edit. Okay, now a couple of important things here. Let's go to record. This is recording a sample from an external synth. Now you will see I have my stereo selected and channels 3 and 4 for my audio interface. I'm going to press monitor and hit a key, and that's the sound I'm going to sample. In fact, I'm going to make a few adjustments. There we go. So I'm going to sample that sound in, and this is where you can set your input level. You can control that on your synth or your audio interface. Now you'll see a little record button here. It'll be kind of grayed out, and pressing it won't do anything. Before you record anything, you need to select a key to record onto. So say you could select this one, this one. Now, personally, I like to record everything in C because it maps to other sample as well. So I'm going to select this C, and I'm going to play a C on my keyboard. And you see, once we select a key, this will, now we're in record mode. I'm just going to hit this key. I'm going to stop that, and there's the sample. So I'm going to drag this in like this. So the start is there. Normalize it as well. I'm going to do that again. Actually, I'm going to hit trim. So I'm just going to trim that. I'm going to expand it with my fingers because we can zoom to get as close as possible to the beginning of that. There we go. So that'll be fine. And I'm going to trim it again. So trim. Okay. In fact, actually, trim that as well. So now, if I play the corresponding key on my MIDI controller, now it's only on this one key, and that means let's go to edit as well, and let's increase the volume so you can hear what's going on. It's only on one key, so if I play any other key, it won't play. So that means that you could select another key and record another sample. Okay, but for the purposes of this, I'm not going to do this, but you can go as deep as you like. You can put different instruments on different keys and stuff like that. I'll probably show you that as well. But I'm going to take this here and stretch this all the way down to C1. I'm going to move this all the way up. Let's just kind of scroll along, and I'm going to move this up to, there we go, C6. Now, like I said, this is a really basic sampler, but it doesn't mean you can't create great sounds. And of course, it's So that's starting to sound okay. So any editing you've done, okay, you can trim it further, or you can choose to reverse it, for example, whatever you want, really. Right, first of all, we're going to just close this window here, and now we can adjust our attack and release. Now, I think that's acceptable and happy, so I'm going to hit save envelope as default, and you won't see much going on, but that will save this envelope to this particular patch. And here you can make further adjustments, and it'll all be remembered in the patch. And you've called it S1. So now if we go back to our thing here, you'll see S1 here. Now, once we close this and open it, it'll be correctly placed in the alphabetical order. Okay, so for instance, we've got cool string machines. And all sorts of cool stuff like that. So let's make another instrument, but this time let's make it from a multi-layered sample. Now, to do this in Cubasis is dead easy. What we're going to do is, we don't even need to create an audio track, but we can. Let's create this audio track here. Let's go to our media bay. I'm going to go to audio, where I have all my samples and stuff, right? So my samples, click on here, and I've got loads and loads of stuff in here, right? So, I mean, listen, gigs worth. So I'm going to go to, say, where are we? Spectral guitars. Now, I made a pack for Koala called Spectral Guitars, and these are all from them. I just exported the samples from that Koala pack into Cubasis. If I play one now, let's hear this. Right, okay, I'm going to drag this onto that audio track. Like that. There we go. I'm going to, shall I convert it to 40? Yes, thank you, I will. And then I'm going to choose another one. That one. And I'm going to drag this to an audio track below it. Okay, and I'll convert that as well. So now we have these two files. You'll see this one is considerably bigger than the other one. Now, if I just press play, let's go back to the beginning. Now, I could import the entire sample, that's not a problem, but I think for the purposes of this, we'll just grab it and make it shorter, and I will then do some sort of fade. So now let's play them both together. Now, you can add more, by the way. You can just carry on adding samples. Now, I think this one is a bit, let me just see. Yeah, this one's a bit loud. I'm just going to go into the mix and turn that one down a little bit, which is track 2. Like that. And now at this point, we can add any more effects and stuff like that to the channels. Now, here's the thing. If I want to get these two combined into the sampler, I could just bounce these down as an audio track, re-import them, and then save them to the media file. But there's a much easier way to do this. You see, if I click on this now, if I double click on it, it opens the editor, and then it says to media, which will save my sample to a track in my media bay, right? So let's do something like this. But I want both of them. So all I need to do literally is just take this one, drag it onto that one, and now those two samples are now merged into one sample here. And all I need to do is go freeze. So now I've rendered this track into there, and it freezes between my loop points because that's how I have this set up. We can now just delete this track. We don't need it anymore. This is a combination of those two samples, right? So now I can drag this in and make sure it goes fades out there. So you've made any adjustments to the samples that you've got, right? Double tap on this now and go to media. Okay, and I'm going to save this file as well, I've got an ambient guitar, so I'm going to save it as ambient guitar 2. I'm going to click OK. Okie dokie. And now if I look in my media bay here, and I'm in my audio section and my audio files, ambient guitar 2 is there, right? So, and I know it's a C because I recorded it in C. Okay, so that's how you know. Make sure you know what your sample is recording. And like I said, I would always, not that you can import any sample you like. It's not a big deal. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go back to our mini sampler here, and I am going to go back here, create new instrument, and I'm going to call this ambient guitar 2 because this is the sample that we're going to make, right? You can call it anything you want, by the way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be called the same as the sample, but it keeps stuff organized so you know what's what when you're building these sounds, right? Okay, so do this. We're going to hit edit now, and this time we're going to go to import, and we're going to go import from, now you see you can import from anywhere you like that you have on Cubasis. Okay, so first of all, we're going to go open this. I'm going to click on ambient guitar, and I'm going to select a key. So maybe I'm going to start with C3 on this one. It's important to select the key first, otherwise it won't work. Double tap, and now we can play it, okay? So now we're going to go back to our edit mode. Maybe increase our sample gain. And I'm going to spread this out all over the place. Now, I could put another sample in, but honestly, for synths and stuff like that, and it's a basic sampler, don't forget, you don't need to go bonkers and keep making all these kind of different samples. You'll get a really good sound. Let's go up to C7 just for fun. So now this is basically spread out all over the keyboard, right? The magic happens when you add the release, of course. Now we could create a loop here. So if I hold a chord, right, eventually it's going to go away. Okay, so it will just eventually fade out. However, if I click loop sample here, you'll now see that we have these right now. This is our crossfading, and this is magic as well. So let's bring this in. Let's move the whole thing. Let's grab this and move the whole thing, say, to there. And let's just loop a very small portion of this sample. So now when I play a chord, this is never going to go away. It's going to loop here. It's just going to keep looping there where we've set our loop point, which actually sounds quite nice. So I'm going to leave that in there that it is. Right now, like I said, when you've done all your stuff, when you've edited what you need to, I mean, you could reverse this, for example. So if we say, for example, now let's close this and let's control our release, right? So now this sounds really cool. Let's increase the volume a little bit. I think that sounds great. So very quickly, we've made 2 patches, right? So let's make something a little bit more complex. So we're going to go in here, of course, and we're going to create a new instrument. Now you see, and I'm just going to call this, I'm just going to call it drums. In fact, I'll call it drum kit. I'll call it drum kit 1 because I might make some more, mightn't I? So in the future. Okay, drum kit 1 now. I'm going to go into edit and I'm going to import again. Now, like I said, I am going to choose this key for the start off, but I'll click it again. Make sure it's important to make sure that you select keys. Okay, otherwise nothing will happen. Let's go to import. This time I'm going to go from my samples and I'm going to look. Here's some from Dean Daughter's Electronic Sounds. If you should check out Dean, it's awesome stuff. I'm going to choose stuff from Reflective, one of his packs. I'm going to open this up and we've got, oh look, drums, right? So kicks, awesome stuff. Dean's Electronic Sound kicks. Let's just, here's some of these, autoplay. Okay, this, right? Select my key, make sure you select your key and double tap and it's added. Now you'll see that it's on my key, right? I'm going to select another key now. I'm going to select this one, but first of all I'm going to go back and find, let me just see, a snare. So snares and reels, let's try this. That one, but let's, oh no, this one, I like this one. So select another key where you want your new sample to go and double tap and you'll see it's added it there. So now I've got, don't forget we're sorting our volumes out a bit, and maybe let's choose some hats just for be quick. We got this one. I'm going to choose, oh, I've added that to that. Let me just change my, let me just change that back to that now. Okay, now I'm going to choose another one. I'm going to choose this F here and then go to hats and choose that one. Double click to add it to the thing. So, okay. And on you would go, adding all sorts of cool stuff. Now, when you've got your samples imported, now we can start playing around with the editing. Let's select this one. Fine. It's all fine. Dean's brilliant. All fine. And this one, all fine. We don't need to do any editing, but we can. Let's select this and increase the gain. Now you can do, I mean, obviously when you're producing something, you can make adjustments in the mix and stuff like that. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so I think for sure for all of this we need, it's see now how this one is. This is perfect because I'm getting a release. That's perfect because I'm getting a release because there's a bit of reverb on it. I don't want the release on this one, so let's go back into edit, select our hi-hat thing and go like this and just trim. Okay, maybe trim it even more. Now we've got this very cool, just clicky, but our envelopes are correctly set for the other two. So when you're happy, make sure you click default envelope and you can go back and edit this stuff anytime you want. I'm still not happy with that kick. I think it could be louder, so cool beans. And let's close this. And all this stuff is remembered, so you're... Okay, awesome stuff. Now let's do maybe one more. Now you know that you can record in, you know that you can import. Let's do something a bit more ambient. And don't forget also that once you've done all it, once you're happy with all this stuff, we can go, right, we can delete all these audio tracks, don't matter. We're still on our instrument now. And this stuff will record in as MIDI. Right, okay, so let's create a new one. Let's go to my preset here, new instrument. So you've seen that you can, let's just call this reversed. So we can do some cool stuff with reversing samples. Okay, you can, like I said, you can call it whatever you like. It really doesn't matter. Let's go back and import something from the samples again. So import, let's go back. Yeah, no, let's do this. This is cool. Let's have something. Yeah, let's do something very cool. We're going to use reverse as well, but we're going to also use something else. So I'm going to go into electronic sounds and I'm going to go to Dean's Noise Candy. Okay, so there's some very, very cool samples in here. There's all sorts of cool stuff. So this one, I am going to put this sample here, double tap it to add it, and I'm going to find another sample now from some, and I'm going to go with otherworldly synths. Before I do that, I'm just going to select a new key. So this is another one of my packs from Koala. So if you're a patron, you'll have all this stuff. See what yeah, let's put this one in. So I've selected my key. This is important. I was going to say this is key, but it would be silly. Double tap to add that. And what we can do now is I am going to just extend this noise stuff around a bit. So this is, where are we now? Here we go. And if I play this F, I'm going to spread this out a bit more. In fact, I'm going to reverse this now. So this isn't really, I could have put this on C, but in fact, I'm going to put it onto C as well. And I'm going to start to reverse some stuff. So this is our Noise Candy one. So let's go to Edit now. Choose the Noise Candy. There it is. I'm going to have this loop. I'm going to normalize it. And let's look at our next sample, which is this. I'm going to reverse this now. Now I'm going to drag in the start point and trim. Right, and then I'm going to use my loop points for this. I'm going to drag this over here because I want it to loop where it's more kind of loud. And in fact, I'm going to drag this in a bit further and trim this as well. I'm going to normalize everything. Okay. So now, play both those keys together. I've got this really kind of cool reverse vibe going on. And this one is still going forward. So let's spread that out a bit further. Let's look at the F. Okay, now you can set a fade in, right? If we drag this down here, sort of thing. So if it's starting too sharp, we can hit fade in, and it'll just fade in at that point there where we selected. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's go to our envelope now. Now we want some really long release and stuff on this, so cool. So now I'm like just holding this F and C with one hand and playing the third sample, which is the same as the F sample but reversed, but not reversed, sorry. Very cool, eh? I'll just let go and it'll just fade away. I mean, that's a really nice kind of ambient texture. And like I said, taking this kind of stuff further, if we go to our insert effects now and say, well, let's add something like, it'll just be here, so no need to search for it really. If I add something like black hole in and make a few adjustments to black hole, I'm going to put the depth of the modulation up. I'm going to slow the rate down, increase the size. I'm also going to increase the EQ a bit as well, bring up some resonance and feedback, bring up the mix. This should sound quite nice. So if I play that noise thing first, in fact, I'll play this and then the reverse one. So I'm getting like a texture and then start to bring in that third sample I put in. Awesome stuff, you see what I mean? It's just, you can go absolutely crazy, put different samples on different keys and create a whole textural landscape with just a few samples with Mini Sampler. The fact that Mini Sampler is pretty limited, I think, is an advantage in a way, because you've got so little control that if you make the effort with what you've got, you can create some really nice stuff. I think it's very, very cool. And in fact, with this one, I think I can extend that all the way up to C5. And I could put other effects. I could put cymbals in, gongs, crashes, impacts, whatever I want, anywhere I want. You select a new key, select a sample. I mean, I know that inside of Reflective, there are some very cool kind of impacts. I think they're in effects. So impact. Okay, there it is. That's fine. I'm going to increase that. So now this impact has also been added to our patch. Okay, it's still called reversed, so it's fine. So now if I play my impact. Oh, now I'll play my 2 keys first with the noise and the reversed loop. Play a few notes up here. Hit the impact. It's great. It's awesome stuff. And you can get as imaginative as you like. Don't forget, one of the most important ones is to stack up your layers, drag them on top of each other. Make sure you get your mix right and everything before you do that, of course. Anyway, top job, cool beans. I will finish by playing a few of my presets. You'll see all this stuff's been added. Look, I'll play a few of my presets that are already in the Patreon folder if you have them. If you are a patron, you'll already have all this stuff. So let's see. We got what this is spread over 5, but you can always go in and you can't edit the factory patches, but there are only a few, but you can edit your own patches and you can go and see like what samples are on what and where, you know. Anyway, awesome stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Ta-ra. A few more patches I'll play. Didn't save my envelope. Important fact is to save your envelope each time you save a new patch. So these are the new ones that we've made today. Again, I need to save my envelope. That's important because if you look, when you go back now, your envelope will be saved. See? Here's that bass synth we made. And a little Roland synth. String machines.